welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Princess Janet and you're welcome once again. Today we're going to be looking at important questions that you should ask during courtship as a lady. You know, courtship is not just a time to just eat or go watch a movie or go have fun. It's important to have fun during courtship. Very important. I will say I support that. But apart from that, you should also ask a lot of questions. Don't just assume that because, oh, bro is a pastor, bro is tongue speaking, bro is looking spiritual, blah, blah, blah. You don't know the kind of mentalities that a lot of people have. A lot of upbringing, a lot of environment people are brought up in shapes the way they think. It's not just enough to be born again. It's not just enough to be speaking in tongues, to be praying and spiritual and all that. You still have to ask this question. Don't just assume. Sometimes people feel like, are you sure he's going to answer truthfully? Maybe he's just going to pretend and you won't know the real answer. So what's the point of asking questions? Don't just assume that he or she is going to. No. Don't just assume that he is going to be lying or he is going to be pretending. There are a lot of people that are sincere even doing courtship. It's just ladies that refuse to see the sincerity. They feel like, oh, maybe you will change, blah, blah, blah. They've failed to ask questions and know the answers to things that they should consider before going to the altar. It is very, very important. No matter how spiritual the person is, I'm saying it again. No matter how spiritual, no matter how highly you hold this person in a very high esteem or whatever. So, question 1. You should ask him, what does he think about cheating? I might feel like as a child of God, he should know that cheating is wrong, adultery is a sin, blah, blah, blah. But a lot of men of God, so-called men of God and so-called Christians around the world that still feel like it is okay for a man to cheat. They still have that mentality and that idea like it's just a normal thing. Men can't really help it. It's just how God created them. They even try to bring God into the equation. They even try to put the blame on God, like it is God that wired them in that way, which is totally wrong. You need to know his mindset about cheating. If you ask him what does he think about cheating, you might not ask him directly like that. You might just bring up a question. Sometimes personally when I'm reading some stories on Facebook, I'll just bring the questions and throw it like to my husband, which was my fiance, then like, what do you think about this question? From his answer you will know what he thinks about that particular topic. And it's not just once that you ask that question. So you can ask one question like 3 times in 3 different ways. So no matter how the person is so good at pretending and lying, if the person is a liar, his 3 answers to those questions will not match up. But if the person is being sincere, you will see a pattern that each questions you ask have same patterns. They have same answers, even though they are in different forms. So what does he think about cheating? What does he think about being unfaithful in a relationship, in marriage? Does he think it's okay for him to cheat? Does he think because he is paying your bride price, so he has the right, to do whatever he likes and go away with it? Then 2, you can ask about, rape. What does he think about rape in marriage? I find it amusing that some Christians believe because in this part of the world, rape is not a crime in marriage. It's not seen as a crime, so it's okay to, in marriage as Christians, to be able to force your wife and rape her, all in the name of. In fact, people will be quoting scriptures for you. They'll be quoting scripture of Paul told the couples not to deny each other sex, blah, blah, blah. So because of that, and because Paul said the husband's body belongs to the wife and the wife's body belongs to the husband, so because of that, if a man forces the wife, it's not rape, it's just taking what belongs to him. Like, seriously? You need to ask that question. What does he think? Is he the kind of person that thinks there's nothing called rape? If I forcefully ask sex with you, it's just me taking what belongs to me. Like, you can't steal what is yours. You can't rape your wife, in that sense. You need to ask, what does he think? Or else you are going to be emotionally traumatized in such a marriage. Where a man, your husband, who claims to love you, is supposed to love you like Christ loved the church, sees it's okay to forcefully have sex with you. And another 3rd question is discuss sex extensively. Don't hide behind Bible and scripture and say we don't want to talk about sex. You don't need to practice premarital sex before you talk about sex. Discuss sex. What is this be about sex? This is the kind of person that feels like you have to have sex morning, afternoon, night. Like it is a 3 square meal food. Like if he doesn't have, he will die. He's the kind of person that can't even wait 1 day after delivery before he pounce on you. He's the kind of person that doesn't care whether you're sick or you're tired or you're dying. He'll still have his way. What does he think about sex? Is he addicted to sex already? You should be able to talk about their sexual experience. You should be able to talk about it. What kind of sexual experience has he had before? And what type of sexual experience is he open to have in marriage? He's the kind of person that will ask you for anal sex. Like, there's no big deal there. Your vagina is not as tight as I want it to be. I want to go into your anus. You need to ask those questions. If you are not okay with oral sex, you can ask him, what do you think about oral sex? He's like, oh, it's no big deal. And you don't feel any big deal about it, fine. But if you are someone that you feel like, no, I can't do that. And it's someone that like, oh, I have to do it. For me, it's something I have to experience. Something you need to discuss. Whether there will be compromise or not, you have to discuss it. Number 4, discuss about in-laws. Like, after marriage, when you guys settle down, how many months or how many years are you going to be allowing people to come and stay with you, in-laws, friends, relatives? Is it immediately after the wedding, you're packing him? Or maybe you're probably packing into even the in-laws' house, into your in-laws, your father-in-law's house. You need to ask these questions. You need to know how he'll be able to protect you. Are you going to be the first in his life, or his siblings and his parents are going to be his first priority? You need to know your place. You need to know where you stand. And know his mentality towards all these questions. And number 5, you need to also discuss about settling down, especially if you're in different states. Probably both of you are working, you have a well-paying job, or you have a business, and you guys are far apart. Probably one is in Lagos, the other person is in Oshogbo or Ilorin, like 3-4 hours away. Where will the main base be? It doesn't mean that you both have to move to the same city. It might not be possible. Maybe probably both of you are working in federal, parastatal, or a state, and you can't transfer from one state to another. Even some federal, it's difficult for you to transfer, and you can't just leave your job. It's in this kind of economy, you need the income. So where are you going to be settling down? Is it going to be in the husband's state or the wife's state? You need to discuss it. Whichever one is okay for you, you need to discuss and agree while you're cutting. If it's not okay for you, you need to discuss it. This is not okay for me. I can't be moving from here to here, blah blah blah. You need to discuss it. Okay, you need to also discuss if the man will think as because you're the wife, so you need to leave your job and then move to wherever he is. He doesn't care whatever amount you're earning. He doesn't care how long you've been building that career. For example, you're a lecturer at Federal University of Oyekiti or something, and then you've been there for 6 years before you guys met, and it's like you have to leave that job and come to Lagos because I'm working in Lagos, and maybe you should just come and start a business or something. I'll open a shop for you. And you that already have a master's, probably you're already on your PhD, and it's asking you to stop, just cancel your career and just come and settle down in Lagos. You need to discuss it. You need to know what his mindset is going to be. It's not that after you now get married and then he now asks you to leave your job, then you now start asking people to hide your identity and be asking anonymous questions. What should I do? My husband said I should leave my job after we got married, blah blah blah. Discuss in courtship, and whatever you agree on, even when you get married and something like that comes up, you'll be able to go back in time and say, we discussed about this. Even if you want to tell anybody, whether it's family or pastors or whoever want to cancel you, you will have something to say that we discussed this when we are cutting, and you agreed that I'm going to keep my job. You agreed that we're going to do this. You'll be able to have something to say. But if we don't even discuss it at all, then there's nothing you're going to say. And in this part of the world, what most people will advise or say is your husband. So you have to submit to him. They don't care whether it's your career, whether it's what makes you happy. Most people will tell you just have to submit to your husband. If you say you should go to Lagos, go to Lagos. Most people will not even talk to the husband and say, husband, you should look at and consider your wife. Most people won't even talk to the husband. They will just face you and tell you that this is why you should submit to your husband in everything, according to what the Bible said, blah, 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 blah. So it is important for you to ask these questions. They're going to, how many children do you want to have? Is it 2? Is it 3? Is it 4? Is it 5? Is it 6? Is it 20? Ask how many children. And does he have any problem with if you have 5 kids and they are all girls? Will he want to keep having more children till they have a boy child? Or if he doesn't have a boy child, he will go and marry another wife outside or have a side chick because he wants a male child that will carry his name on. Ask him, what does he think about having all female child? What does he think about having all male child? There's some men that also, they don't want all male child, they want a female child. They be like, oh, my wife just gave me 4 male, I want a female, blah blah blah. What does he think about it? Does he understand that he's the one that contributes, or is the one that determines the sex of these children? It's not your fault whether it is male or female. It's whatsoever it deposited into you that is the chromosome that is depositing, is what you are bringing out, that you're producing. You need to discuss it. Also, you need to look at what if after 5 years of marriage, 10 years, and there's no children? What is he going to do? Will he call for a divorce or separation? Will he think about having a side chick and having children outside? Another question that you should ask as a lady is about finance. Ask about joint savings. Ask about what does he think about joint savings. Is he the kind of person that wants you both to bring resources together to finance the home, finance the feeding and taking care of the children? If you are okay with it, fine. If you're not, discuss it. There are some men that want joint savings, but ask them to pick one pin even on the floor in the house. They can't pick it. They can't do any house chores. But the only provision they believe they are meant to do, they also want joint savings. And if you are okay with it, fine. If you're not, discuss. What does he think about financing the home? Or is it the kind of person that will say the wife should bring his salary every month and come and put in his account, and he's going to be the one that will give her what she needs out of the salary? Yeah, men like that. We've seen stories. I've heard stories like that, where the man collects all the salary and then gives the woman the small amount that he believes she needs, and he keeps the rest. You need to ask a lot of questions about finance. Who is going to be taking care of the finance in the home? Who is taking the larger percentage? Is it going to be 50-50? Is it going to be 60-40? Whatsoever. Major project in the house, how are you going to be doing it? And that's another important thing to discuss. When you have major projects in the house, whose name is he going to be on? Is it just his name or both your name? Another important question you need to ask is are you okay with the way I look, the way I dress, without makeup or with makeup, wearing trouser or not wearing trouser? It's very important. There are a lot of men who will see a lady on a normal day, every day she wears makeup, she wears crop top, jeans, leggings, use weave on and everything, and they were okay with that. They saw that and they got married to that. But after marriage, then they decide to turn her to something else. They're like, no, I don't want you to wear weaves anymore. I don't want you to wear leggings anymore. I don't want you to wear crop tops anymore. Why didn't you say that before marriage? And this is why it's important for ladies to also ask him, are you okay with the way I look? And there are people that don't use makeup, naturally beautiful like this, like me, you know, pink lips. They don't wear trousers, they don't use weaves, they don't use earrings, blah blah blah. And then you get married and then your husband's like, you know, you really look too simple. I don't like how you look. Can't you just apply some makeups, you know, fix some eyelashes, you know, add some weave-ons? It's not really that bad. It's not really bad. Use some lipsticks. You look just too clean. You look like history. As if you didn't see that before he got married to you. So you need to ask, do you like the way I look? If he doesn't like it, I don't know why you guys want to get married. And if he likes it, fine. This is how I'm going to be looking, even after we get married. So you better be okay with it. And then talk about house chores. Seriously, it's very important to talk about house chores. Can you cook? There are some men that can cook. There are some men that doesn't know how to cook. There are some men that can cook, but even though they know how to cook, once they get married, they believe, no, it's time for me to just cross my leg as the king of kings and lord of lords in this house. I need to be served every day. Even though they know how to cook, they won't enter the kitchen. And there are some men that they don't even know how to cook at all. And they're not ready to learn, and they're not ready to cook in marriage. They believe it's the woman that should cook. And there are some men that, yeah, they don't know how to cook, but they're ready to learn. They don't think it's wrong. They don't see anything bad in learning and cooking for their wife. And it's not just cooking, it's daily house chores in the house. We have cleaning, we have mopping the floor, we have cleaning the toilet, washing clothes, going to the grocery to buy stuffs, washing their car, and a whole lot of other things. What does he think about doing all these things? It is very important to ask them, because in this generation, both men and women are working. In fact, I see a lot of women who have a full-time job. They still have another side hustle. They have a business. They sell clothes. They sell shoes. They have a catering business. They are doing granuts, chin, small jobs. They bake and all of that stuff. And they go out in the morning, come back in the evening, and they are still the only one that do all these house chores. You are going to die. at a very early age. And even though high heady, you will look older than your age, and your husband will just be looking younger, and he will still be the same person that will be complaining that you look haggard and unkept and tired always, and he's the one that is stressing you. You need to discuss all these things. And even if he doesn't feel comfortable doing house chores, there are some men that don't feel like doing house chores, fine, but can he allow house help, or people that will come during the weeks and come and help you and relieve you of this stress? There are some men that they can't do house chores, house help they won't allow. People that will come and work during the weekends, they won't also allow that one. Washing machine, they won't allow. You need to discuss these things. You also need to discuss, what do you think about beating your wife? There are some men that believes women are very stubborn. They are like children and babies. You need to discipline them sometimes. Just give them one occasional dirty slaps. Use belts to beat sense into their head. You need to ask, what do you think about beating your wife, or beating me when we get married? Do you think it's okay? Will you beat me when we get married? What can I do that will make you to beat me? How hungry can you be that will make you to just slam my head to the wall? You need to ask. And then you also need to watch how you can control his temper even while you are cutting. This kind of person that when he's angry like this, he will just, anything that is close to him, he can throw it and just throw it on the floor. Even if it's his phone, his laptop, anything, he can just destroy it just because he's angry. Or even while you are cutting, he has already slapped you several times and punched you in the face. And then after that, he came back and he was begging, I'm sorry. And he came with boxes of chocolate and flowers and money. And then you said, okay, no problem. Maybe it's just because he's angry. I was the one that caused himself. It's because I was talking too loud to him. That's why he gave me a dirty slap. And you will continue. And when you get married and they now start the beating in full package, you will be complaining. You need to ask questions and also watch. Another question you should ask is, what does he think about, or what will he do when you have a terminal sickness or disease after marriage? Nobody plans or prays to be sick or terminally heal, but sometimes it happens. There are women that have breast cancer, cervical cancer, different kind of diseases, or fibroid, or different kind of disease that prevent them from bearing children. What does he think? What will he do in that kind of situation? Is he going to abandon you? Is he going to divorce you? Is he going to go and drop you with your family? There are some men like that. They'll be like, I can't take care of her. They'll just go and drop you in your mother's or father's house. What will he do when you're sick? How will he treat you? What is he going to do to make you feel better? You need to ask that too. You also need to ask about training your children. What does he think about training children, bringing them up? Is it just going to be your job alone, or is it going to be your joint efforts in disciplining these children and training them in the way of the Lord? What kind of school are they going to go to? That's also important. There's some people that feel like, whether private or public, a child that will be successful. There are men like that. I've met someone like that before. He's educated. Even though he's educated, he still have that kind of mentality that it doesn't matter whether the child goes to public school or private school, that the child that will still be successful will be successful. If you are okay with that, fine. If you are not, you need to discuss it. Do you want your children to be going to public school even though you can afford private school? What kind of level of education do you want for your children? What kind of quality of education do you want for your children? You need to discuss them. Overall, after asking all these questions, there are still many other questions that you need to ask. A whole lot of questions. But these are the ones I can remember right now. And these questions, you can ask them in different ways. If you're on Facebook, very well, even on Twitter, sometimes you will see some posts, some tweets that might make you remember some questions, or that you can use as a discussion. You can just throw it to him, like, what do you feel about this? From what he says, you'll be able to deduce his mentality or mindset about that. And you also need to ask questions about, what does he feel, or what does he believe, or what does he define as submission and respect? Yeah, because Nigerian men are very obsessed with the word submission and respect, and what it means to people is different. To some people, what submission means is, as the man, I command and you obey. If I say you sit down, you sit down. If I say you stand up, you stand up. If I say you die, you die. For some, respect means worship. That's what it means. Like, you worship them as the Lord and Savior of your soul. You need to ask them, what does submission mean to you? The submission means I don't have a say in this marriage. The submission means I don't get to say my opinion at all. What does submission mean? You need to ask him. What does respect means to him? You need to ask him. You need to know his mindset about it. And overall, you need to know his vision and his purpose. Like, in the next 5 years, what do you want to be doing? Or where are you going to be? What are your plans for the family and the future? Do you have education plans? Do you have the plans to go into full-time ministry? Do you have the plans to be a rural rugged missionary? Do you have the plan to further your education? What kind of a job do you want to be doing in the next 5 years? What are your financial plans? Blah blah blah. All this you need to discuss. What his vision is. And you also need to watch him. What kind of man is this? Is it the kind of man that is just comfortable where he is? Is there any 150,000 in Lagos and it's just okay with that? It doesn't aspire to, get a higher pay or start up a business or think about something that can bring more money. It's just comfortable the way he is there. He doesn't even care about getting more professional qualification or getting a professional master's or adding more degrees to his degrees and getting more knowledge. Is just okay where he is. Such a man might have a problem if you want to aspire or want to get a higher degree, or if you want to, progress in life. Yeah, it might cause an issue because you might feel like, what are you doing all this for? It's not something that he sees as important. You need to be able to know his vision, his purpose, and be able to see where you key into, where you fit into, and if that also aligns with your own vision and purpose, and how you're going to help him, and how he is also going to help you in your own vision and purpose. What your plans are, you need to lay them on the table and then make it into a master plan. Join your plans and purpose together. Does it align? Does he agree? The Bible says, can two work together unless they agree? Does your purpose and vision agree? Does your mindset and mentality, does it agree? Or whenever you are saying A, he's saying Z. Whenever you are saying B, he's saying W. You need to look at these things. And above all, you need to pray. Pray and pray and pray. Prayer is very, very important in courtship. From the beginning, even before you say yes to the proposal, pray. And after you say yes, keep praying. Continue praying. That's why the Bible says pray without ceasing. Keep on praying. The fact that you are so convinced that it's the one doesn't necessarily mean that you guys should get married. There are still some things you might see. There's still something the Lord can open your eyes to see, and you might feel like this is not the way. So you need to keep praying. You need to be vigilant, and you need to ask a lot of questions. Watch and pray. The aspect of watching is you watching him, asking questions, knowing him for who he is, and then prayer is God helping you and making sure everything works perfectly fine. And so that is all for this video. If you have any other questions or any other topics you would like me to discuss, you can drop it in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and also like this video. See you next time. Bye.